Welcome back to the channel. This week on the Kiwi Barefoot Gardener, over a couple of days we try and make sense of the greenhouse and we get out into the back garden, which is busy flourishing, but have to prioritise what we get up to. Come potter with me in the garden. My name is Dawn and I'm the Kiwi Barefoot Gardener. Good afternoon. Well, it's Wednesday, so stopped raining, the sun's out, but it's really wet underfoot everywhere. It's about 1ish in the afternoon, so it's had all morning to dry up, but it's still quite soggy out there. So I have decided this afternoon I'm going to hang out in the greenhouse for as long as I can tolerate it. I've still got plenty of other things I need to do. The back garden is desperate for me to spend some time there, and I'm still need to pot on some more seedlings, and there's a whole lot more that I noticed this morning while I was watering and moving them around and what have you, that are almost at that point where I need to pot them on. They haven't quite put out their true leaves, they've still just got seed leaves, but I don't want them to get too leggy, so we'll just have to see over the next day or two about them. But the greenhouse, let's focus, Dawn. So I need to get in there because with the damp weather and what have you, and me being me, I sort of overcrowded the greenhouse again. Some of the things are looking a bit sad for different reasons. There's a bit of mould in there, different powdery mildew, and I am not sure, I may, just may, have blight. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping it's just a wilt, because if it's blight, that's it, the tomatoes in the greenhouse are gone. But it's been so muggy for Canterbury and the weather's been so on again, off again. So how am I going to do it? Well, it's going to get damn hot in there. It's crowded. So what I might do is actually drag some of them out of the greenhouse and do them just outside the greenhouse door. It's cooler and it's easier to work. So I'm going to get on with it, and we'll might do a bit of speedy and some music. I'll see how it goes, or some commentary and what have you along the way once I pull some of these things out and have a look at them and see what's what with them. Okay, I'm not going to be able to get everything in. I'm sitting at the door of the greenhouse just outside. This is the cucumber. It's the patio snacker one, and I had missed this one completely, this cucumber, so I'm just going to snip it off. And there's another really big one here too, so that's coming off. My patio snacker out on the deck is not doing well. I think it's probably with all this weird weather, and it's been cold last night, which is going to trigger off, if we get several days, nights like that, it's going to trigger off some things to actually stop growing. I'm just going to tidy up the plant a wee bit. Just anything that's looking a bit yucky leaf-wise. As many of you know, I follow Charles Dowding quite a lot, and he does his cucumbers in a big polytunnel that he has there, and he has that open to the air all the time, though he does have barriers just to stop the wildlife getting in. And he just takes off all the lower leaves on his. I'm not being quite that much at the moment, but yeah, so I'm just going to tidy that up, and then we'll have a look at the next thing, which are a couple of tomatoes which are not looking healthy at all. So yeah, right, this is Brad, i.e. the Brad Atomics grape, and I am doing handheld, so I'm hoping it's not too shaky, but I just wanted to bring you in and show you what's going on with the leaves here. Now, this is definitely not like lack of water wilt or anything. It looks quite similar to the wilt that the tomatoes outside got. which is very discouraging because I have been watering regularly. Well, I try and water regularly, and they've been fed. So really don't know what's going on there with it at the moment. Don't think it's blight because when I look at the stems, while they're slightly darker, I think it might be due to the type of tomato, not knowing Breed's Atomic Grape that well, only from what I've seen online. So yeah, don't think it's blight. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tidy it up and see what I've got left. It may not be much. It may be time for Mr. Brad to leave. We'll see. Okay, I've done trimming it up, so we'll have a quick look. Sorry about the shake. So as you can see, a fair bit has gone. I thought I'd top this out, but it appears I hadn't, so I've topped it out now. The fruit that's on there isn't ripe yet. I definitely know that. Right, I'm not getting fast, but anyway. Got those done, but this is the black cherry. This is, and I'm not quite sure how well you can see against all the other foliage, but it's knackered. There is this stuff everywhere. There's very few green leaves on it, so I'm going to cut it down. I do actually have a couple of other black cherries in there that I planted by mistake, thinking I didn't have a black cherry already in there. Didn't look properly. So I'm going to cut this one right back, give the other tomatoes a chance too. There's definitely another one there that's looking particularly sick. A lot of yellow leaves, and I know they've all been fed, so... Right, so, yep, going to take this one out. The fruits, yeah, I don't know. The really green ones have got less likelihood of ripening. Anything that's got any bit of colour, you can pop on the bench and it'll often ripen in a few days to a week or a bit longer. But I'll pop these next to the bananas. I've always got bananas that are really ripe, so yeah, that might help a bit as well. I did harvest a couple of tomatoes off the mystery beefsteak, so they're looking good, and they do look like that Cherokee purple that I was talking about earlier. Right, so I won't film this. I'm just going to cut it away and save things. Right, not the most perfect camera angle, I'm sorry. So it's just coming up 3:30, and I've been slowly working my way through the tomatoes. It's taken a bit, as evidenced by my tomato hands. So they're all done now, which is great. Found that one of my aubergines has actually got an aubergine on it, eggplant, so that's great. So I am up to the capsicums, and yeah, this was the, I don't know if you can, yeah, you should be able to see it. This is the one is the cornetto, and it's a mixed seed pack, so you really don't know what colour you're going to get. I've definitely got red ones outside. This one is starting to look maybe red. Could be just orange, I don't know. I mean, you can eat them green, of course, but yeah. So it's actually looking really good because, I can't remember how many weeks ago we looked at it, and it was looking a bit sad, and I wondered if it had been getting too hot in there. That was before Christmas. But with the cooler weather, it seems to, even though it's in the greenhouse, come away quite nicely. Unfortunately, it has the dreaded white fly and etc. So I'm going to clean that up in a few minutes and keep moving. And I'll see how much further I get on, because with it being 3:30, well, yes, there is still a lot more day left. I've got things I've got to do inside later, so like dinner for one. So I'm just going to keep moving with that, and then we'll see how far I get. Might have to come back tomorrow and have another go at it, because I definitely want to get this greenhouse done, but as I said earlier, I definitely need to get the back garden done. But it's only Wednesday, so I've got Thursday and Friday, and the weather's meant to be okay on those days, so a bit warmer on Friday, so I might have to get out early and get things done, and then I can spend the afternoon doing stuff in the garage where it's going to be out of the direct sun. So that's my plan at the moment, but we shall see what happens. But I definitely got this cornetto, and I can see, I think it's 2 or 3 orange bell ready, or near ready, and I got a couple of cucumber, at least one cucumber that's ready down there, the Market Moors I think it is, and I need to tidy up the melons. One of the plants is looking decidedly yellow and knackered. I was hoping to get it through, but I don't know that it's going to make it. But I do have some reasonable sized melons on other ones, not, like watermelon size, but rock melons. And when I last looked, and it would be about a week ago that I checked out my little watermelon. What was it called? Baby something. So fingers crossed at least I get a taste of watermelon this year. I'm up to the melons, and this one here is the watermelon one, and it's Sugar Baby, so I remembered it now. It's doing okay. It's got one fruit, which I'll take the camera off later and show you before, but I do need to tidy it up a wee bit, give it a feed and give it a damn good water. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll show you the fruit before, and this will be the last thing I do today. I think I need to get in and get tea sorted. So as much as I'd probably like to spend the whole afternoon and evening in the garden, the family might not like it. And yes, they do their fair share of cooking, but today's my day, and so I need to get my finger out and do it. Right, handheld, sorry if it's shaking. There's my Sugar Baby at the moment, and that's the only one I've got, but where'd it go? Right, found it. I've got several of these little tiny ones, and as long as they keep going, I might get a few more, as long as the weather stays fine and warm for the greenhouse. So I'm kind of happy with that. I've got probably 2/3 of the greenhouse done, as in, tidying everything up and removing. Now, out of all that, only one tomato actually had to be completely removed, which was that black cherry. One of the other ones is looking pretty naked, and that is sun gold. And that was one of the ones that I put in at the last minute because it was left over and I just couldn't throw it away. I really need to learn how to say no to myself and just cut back what goes in here. But after all that, I did get a reasonable amount of tomatoes. Most of them are off the black cherry that needed to come out, though some of them are just off other plants. There was another black cherry that had a few ripe ones. I had one tiny sun gold, but the ones on the deck have been giving me some. And I had, if I can get down to it, come out. I had 2 of those, which are the Cherokee Purple, which are meant to be the beefsteak ones, but these are rather small. There's other really big ones on there, but yeah, these 2 were soft and ripe and I needed to get them off, so yeah, did that. So I also harvested those 2 cucumbers, so that's good, and I can see more cucumbers that need to come out. I'm going to be drowning in cucumbers. Well, I am drowning in cucumbers. So next year I am going to probably just cut it down to one plant and try and be good. As I said, I'm the only one that eats reasonable amount of cucumbers. There's one other person in the house that'll eat it now and then, but yeah. The other thing I picked off was I want to say artisan blush, but it wasn't. Sunrise bumblebee, and I picked one of those. I had to eat it, so yeah, I know. And to be honest, it wasn't actually that great. I have done them in the past and they've been really yummy, but that one just, okay, well, let's hope the rest are better. So, happy with all that. I'm going to go in now and sort out some dinner for everyone, and get back to and probably do this tomorrow morning after I've got an appointment that I've got to sort out first. Thankfully, it's a phone appointment. I don't need to truck into town. And then get back out here, get the rest of the greenhouse done, and then quick brief trip down the side alley. Even though we had rain, I do need to do a bit of watering down there because there was a couple of containers that just didn't get the rain. And then head out into the back garden and we can see what's going on in there. I just need to be mindful that I don't want to make the vlog 5 hours long. It's always a mission to not make it 5 hours long. So I'll catch you tomorrow. Good morning. Well, it's Thursday and it's the day before a long weekend, so that's great for many people. I'm back in the greenhouse. It's sort of cloudy-ish, so it's a good time to actually get in there. I'm not going to cook. It's cool wind, so I don't really want to be out the back yet or even out the front. So being in the greenhouse will be good. And I just need to finish it. So I just had a quick look in there. I haven't actually climbed in there yet because I need to move a few things. And looking at what I did yesterday, I did really clean up those tomatoes. I've lifted them right up, which may be premature. However, the weather doesn't look like it's going to really kick in at the moment to be long and hot tail to summer. I could be wrong. I was wrong about summer full stop. I thought we were going to get a long hot summer, and that came to a grinding halt around Christmas. So to get my plants to the point where the fruit ripens, sorry about that little interruption. The gas man came. We needed a new gas bottle. So what I was saying was around the tomatoes, etc. So with everything lifted, it hopefully will give everything a chance to ripen with the potential short summer that we're looking at having at the moment. And the reason why I'm thinking it's going to be a short summer at the moment, or that fruits will have difficulty in ripening, is that the nights are cooling down quite quickly. So normally at this time of year we'd all be steaming in bed going, oh, I wish it was cooler so we could sleep. Yep. However, we've actually even, like the other day, had a night that was 6 degrees. So while it was a one-off and most of the nights are over the 10-degree mark, I can already see things in the garden that are dying back because of the cooler nights. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I've cut everything back. So I'm just in the gap while I was waiting for the gas man to do his thing. I've just rearranged and pulled a few things out and put things back, and it looks like one of my melons is kaput. I've got a capsicum just sitting here at the door that I'm going to work on. It's got orange fruit, but I don't think it's going to go much further than that, so I'll just remove a few leaves and tidy it up so that the other fruits will ripen. But yeah, I'm just really sort of already starting to thin out what's in the greenhouse. So I'm going to have to seriously think in the next few weeks, what am I going to grow in the greenhouse over the winter? Because I do want to this winter grow on that side, which is the sunnier side of the greenhouse over winter. I didn't do very much last year. I focused on seeds and seedlings and things like that, so I'm not going to bother about that this year. I'm going to focus more on actually growing things over winter. My garden itself does normally really, really well over winter because we're coastal. We don't get the severe frost. I can grow brassicas and I can grow spinach and silver beet and all that stuff. Can't do peas. It's just a wee bit too cold. Beans, no, because it's definitely not warm enough for them. I could do things like beetroot, which I like, but not really anyone else in the family likes, unless they're pickled, and they don't like my pickles. Go figure. I do know why, but I won't go into it. It's nothing to do with flavour or anything. It's about food safety thing and their beliefs in food safety. What are the other things? Oh, I will do swede, but definitely not doing turnips this year. And I was going to try kohlrabi again, but I can't find the seeds for it. I don't know what I've done with them. Maybe I used them all last year and I just didn't replace them. Don't know. Anyway, going to get on with it. It's after 10. It's probably about 10:30 now after these guys are gone. I've got a coffee. It's my second one for the morning. And I'm just going to plough my way through here, and I'll show it to you when I've done the other end. I'm back before I said it was going to be back, so I said I was going to show you the end. I've just finished tidying up the Market Mall cucumber and the Telegraph one, so took off a lot, and I found one of the reasons why things might be not doing so great. I noticed a lot of their leaves had holes, so I went investigating, and I've got those little tiny loper type caterpillars, so they go up in the big sort of hump when they move. So I have removed as many of them as I could find. Excuse me for not coming off camera for a sec. I just want to grab something to show you. Sorry, making a mess here. Let's see if I can. So that's what it was doing to the leaves. So I've removed all those, removed any ones that I could see when I turned, because they hide on the underside, turned all the leaves over and removed all the caterpillars that I could find, tidied it right up, and it's actually got 3, maybe 4 more cucumbers formed, and there's some flowers and what have you, so I've done that big tidy up, given it a wee feed and what have you. But what I do want to show you next, and I'll take you off the stand to show you, is my poor old melon. And this is the Hale's Best one, which is something I've grown heaps of times before. Well, heaps of times, several times before. And it's got 3 fruits on it, but it is looking very sad. Now, one of the reasons it's looking sad is this is the one that's really suffered from the powdery mildew and what have you. So, but it's got loads of yellowing leaves that I need to get off it. And I would like to leave it still there because the fruits aren't ready, and there's 3 there and they're looking really good. So let's have a quick look. I'll bring you in. So sorry, this is handheld and it's Mr. Shaky. I do apologise. So this is it. I'm just going up from the bottom to the top, and I think you can just see in the background there's 3 melons there, which is awesome, and you can see all the brown leaves and everything. But there's a lot of new stuff as well coming out, so I think I'll give it a really good tidy up. I was really tempted to just remove it, but let me just tidy it up and we'll see. Right, I have tidied it up, and it does look extreme because there was a lot of yellow dead leaves on there, powdery mildew, the whole 9 yards. So, I mean, the thing is that we're going from wanting to encourage it to keep growing, as in lengthwise and more flowers, etc., to getting the fruit ripe. So that's what I'm up to. I've got 3 big fruits and 1 tiny one that I almost took off, just didn't quite. Now, I should really cut off the longer stems that you can see sort of blowing around in the breeze, because I don't really want it to grow lengthwise anymore or put any more of its energy into that. However, because I've cut off so much else leaf-wise, I've decided to leave them on so that I've got some green, newish leaves that can actually do the work for the plant. So, watch this space to see how I go with my melons. Hopefully they'll be ready in about 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. It's done. Well, boy. Anyway, it's before 12, which was my aim, so that's good. Louis's been hanging around complaining that I'm not out in the back garden. He's not that keen on the greenhouse. I'm not sure if it's just confined spaces and he's just not liking that. But anyway, I'm done. I will show you what I've done in a minute. Really, I suppose because what I've been saying earlier and what have you, that with the weather being less than optimal, that I've really probably shifted my growing phase from actively growing to get more things like more tomatoes, more capsicums, more melons, etc., to a let's get it ripe and sort it out from there. So that's what I've done. I've sort of lifted everything so that everything's exposed, removed anything, well, most stuff that's looking dead / or dying. I've had to leave some, otherwise, especially the melons, would have been completely stripped of anything leaf-wise. Yeah, so I've got a few melons there. So we saw the sugar baby one. There's another baby one on there. I don't know whether that'll come to anything. The Hale's Best, I've got 3 good ones. And then the Western Express, I think there's 2 there, with one that's not looking so great. It's starting to yellow around the top. It's a good size, so it's not as if it's sort of like not got to the that early stage where they often just go yellow and fall off. I did pick a few of those off, but yeah, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But we'll have a quick look, and then hopefully this afternoon we'll head out in the garden. I'm not sure how much of that will show because I've got to edit this and I don't want to make it 2 hours or 4 hours long. So yeah, we'll just see how we go. I'll leave it there now for the greenhouse, and we'll see how things pan out this afternoon for the garden. Right, it's now after lunch. Well, it's actually 2ish, and I'm out in the back garden and having a look around. I think I need to prioritise a couple of things for today. So it is meant to be quite fine for the next day or 2. So I'm going to lift my onions and then just leave them laying out for a day or 2 on the top of the soil to dry a wee bit. The peas have to come out today. They are just absolutely coated in powdery mildew, but we'll have a look at them in a few moments. And I need to get the spinach out. The variety that I got planted this year was called Summer Solstice. It hasn't been anywhere near as good as the variety I've grown in previous years. That one is called Summer Supreme, and I've never had bolting issues with that one. This one's just bolted as soon as it's got in the garden. Initially I thought it was because I had planted it out of 6 cells and maybe it had been in there too long, but then I planted some seed direct. It came up reasonably well, and it's just gone straight to seed. It's just bolted. It hasn't. I know we've had wacky weather, I know, but you know, even with wacky weather in the past, the Summer Supreme one that I've traditionally grown, I've never had this problem. So I'm pretty sure hiding behind the spinach is a couple of capsicums that are ready to go, and I've just quickly grabbed a couple of things. I turned my back again on the courgettes. That was half the size yesterday, but you know, we've had lots of rain. So, and my patty pans, though this one seems to be more like an acorn. Not quite sure why. They're usually not quite so bulky there, but they're more like that, though that one's starting to get a bit acornish. It might be because of the rain, I don't know, but I've got a whole lot more growing there, but I do need to actually tidy that up at some point, but not today. I've got my 3 priorities that I'm going to focus on, so let's get to it. So the peas first. As you can see, really bad powdery mildew. It's just destroyed them, really. There's peas on there. I'm going to rescue what I can. I can even see the pods have actually started to go mouldy, as in over and above the powdery mildew, and I'll show you some of them in a minute. But yeah, this weather's just been devastating. So I'll get what I can out of it, clear them. I won't bother putting any more in. It's early February. It's 8 weeks to get the next lot, in theory. I mean, I've got some new ones going. Unfortunately, they've already got powdery mildew too. But if I plant any new ones now, they're going to take 8 weeks, and then they're going to be in my way for when I start getting the brassicas and other stuff in for winter, which I'll be doing in the next 4 to 6 weeks from now. So yeah, just not worth it. So they've got to go. So we'll do a bit of speedy and a bit of music, and you can see me ripping all these out. Shame, but it is the way the cookie crumble. So that's the peas done. Took a wee bit, quite entangled. Maybe next year I'll double the recommended space between plants. I did follow as per the guidelines, but if we're going to end up with another damp summer, I might just increase the distance between them, and hopefully we'll get a bit more air between them and they won't get so much powdery mildew. Though saying that, it was the outside bottom facing the south that it started, so that the south doesn't get the sun. But yeah, got to try something, because that's the second year in a row that I've got peas. They haven't done as well as they could have done, so like keep picking them 2 or 3 times, maybe 4 times before pulling them out. But yeah, there were a few flowers on that still, but that was just right at the top where there was no powdery mildew. But I mean, you could see from the foliage that I was pulling off, it was pretty stuffed. So I've got a reasonable sized bowl of peas here. I'll have to give them a damn good wash on before I pod them. I mean, powdery mildew doesn't sort of really hurt you. I mean, you get it on things like silver beet and what have you, and a wee bit is okay. It's not something you want to eat in big amounts, because it is what they call hepatotoxic, so it's toxic to your liver. So a tiny wee bit isn't going to hurt you, but I'll need to wash these up before I pod them, so that I'm not spreading it actually on the peas that I'm podding. So I will do that. They may have to wait till tomorrow before I actually sit down with a big cup of coffee and do those. I will probably freeze these rather than eat them from fresh, because these wee ones here I probably can eat from fresh. Some of the bigger pods have probably gone a bit too far, and they'll be a bit more floury is the word I'm thinking of. So they'll be all right in things like casseroles and things like that, so sort of drowned in gravy. So I will sort them out tomorrow. Right, next I think will be the spinach. So, but I'm definitely needing a coffee first, so that is first on the agenda, then the spinach. Right, spinach. I think you can see it from where you are. It's waving in front of the thing. So it's all gone to seed like that, and that's happened really quickly. This is the stuff that, pretty sure this is the stuff that was initially out of the 6 cells, and behind me, while it hasn't gone to seed, and I'll move the camera around and show you a bit in a minute, it's bolting, and this is the stuff that I back sowed directly. So yeah, a bit disappointing. So let's get this out and see what I can find behind it. I can see a little bit of red, so I'm pretty sure that there's a couple of capsicums back there, and I think they're just the little lunchbox ones, but nice red capsicum, lunchbox or not, will always make a meal look a lot brighter and things like that. So I'm just going to move the camera, because that's not a very good angle, and I'll see if I can put it behind me and you can see what I'm doing. Take too long. Some of you might be saying, why didn't I just pick some of it before I chucked it all into the compost? Mainly because no one in the family really liked that variety. It tasted very different to the spinach that we've often had. It wasn't a particularly pleasant variety, so it just really wasn't worth it because I'm pretty sure no one would have eaten it, or if they did they would have complained. But this is what I mean by like it just going straight to, so that's a young plant, but you can see that it's already putting out a seed head, going straight to seed. So I'll chop these up and then we'll have a look at the capsicums. Right, so behind the spinach was the capsicums. None of them have done like amazingly well, but they're okay. They're probably about half the size height-wise that they normally are. I think even last year they were taller than this, and I didn't get a great crop off them. I think, like 1 or 2 capsicums per plant because it was pretty stink summer. These ones have done okay as far as fruit's concerned. This is the one that I was telling you about, the lunchbox one, and I think you can just see the red there. So I'll nip one off, and there's actually, I think there might be 4 of them there. So we'll have a wee look. I'll just cut them off. There's only 3. One of them just fooled me. So these are the cornetto ones, and I've got some growing in the greenhouse, and we talked about them earlier in the vlog, and definitely can tell the difference between the greenhouse ones and these ones. The greenhouse ones are probably twice the size. So that's it. It's not a huge pepper, and these ones are quite tiny, but they are thinner walled than the bell capsicums and what have you. And was it last year or the year before? I can't remember which now. Years blur into one. I got a huge crop of these. Unfortunately, none of them were ripe, so I ended up with loads of green ones. But I chopped them all up and popped them in the freezer, and they were great. So I've been I had been popping them in stews and casseroles and soups and things like that. So these 3 are ripe, very ripe actually, that one. So I'll use them in the next day or so, and probably just have them in a stir fry or something, depending on what we have to eat in the next couple of days. I'm not very organised with my meals at the moment, but yeah, they definitely, you can tell that they've been outside and they're quite weathered looking, but happy with those. Right. We'll move and we'll go and sort the onions out, and then I think that'll be it for the day once we get them up, and we'll just leave them laying. Right, I've made the onions. So they've all fallen over, all their necks are gone. I'll bring you in closer and show you that in a minute. And unfortunately there's a fair few weeds in there. There's actually even some catnip in there, which I'm not quite sure how it got there. But probably from a pot that I emptied that may have had some self-seeded stuff fall into it. But that's good because the catnip out the front is being absolutely trashed by the boys, so I might see if I can salvage that without disturbing the roots too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm literally just going to pull all the onions out and just lay them on the top till tomorrow, and then I think we're going to find weather for about the next week. I don't think we've got any serious rain, so I might set up something up on the deck to dry them. In the past I've used the clothesline things, sometimes known as flying nuns, and run bamboo and canes in and pop them in upside down there. I've also just put down old towels and done them on there and turned them over. Last year, because of the wet weather, they ended up in the garage upside down in those greenhouse stand type things, the cheap plastic ones that you get from Bunnings, Warehouse, etc, etc. But I don't really want to do that again this year because I've got a whole lot of stuff on those, so I don't really want to use them. So yeah, I'll have to think about it overnight what I've got handy. Oh, I've got a bow. You can't see him, he's underneath me. Right, I'll get on with it. I said I was going to bring you down. I forgot. But anyway, I've got you down now. So you can see how the onion necks have bent over and the actual green bits have started to die off. So you harvest the whole onion, you don't cut anything off, you just lift them, try and not damage the bulbs. So we'll get on with that and we'll do a bit of speedy and a bit of music. Onions out. Now, I didn't say was when you're pulling them out, don't yank them by the neck, okay? Because what you're wanting is the neck to be intact because you want it to dry, and then once it's really dried and sealed, you can snip off the top, leaving a wee bit of a dry neck. So that's important. I just tried to get in underneath them and lift them. The majority of them are really good size. I've got a few tiddlers, but that's fine. See, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. That will, a couple of those will do a meal. I've got some huge white ones there, so that's good. But out of all of them, there's only one sort of weird one, and it's sort of split its bottom and try to regrow, I think. Don't know that it's the latest rain that we've had, but yeah. I had intended to harvest them Monday, but ran out of time, and then we got the rain, so yeah. So I think that's about me done and did. We'll catch up for a coffee and a chat later. I feel like I've just sort of dragged myself backwards through the undergrowth at the moment. But yeah, pretty happy with that. The back garden still needs a lot of work to tidy it up. It's, at this time of year, you turn your back on it for a week, or not even a week, and everything's, gone again. So it's that time of week again that we have a coffee and a chat, though I'm into the cold drinks today because I've already had a huge coffee earlier. So I'm just sitting out here in the back garden enjoying the sun for a few minutes. So what did we get up to in the garden this week? A couple of part days, so half days in the greenhouse trying to make sense of that. It was a bit of a jungle. Things have been growing reasonably well, and I have struggled a wee bit keeping up with the watering and things like that. It just gets too hot in there for me, and I'm not getting up early enough to get it done. I just need to move my bum a bit more. But yeah, so it's gone from the stage now where I'm sort of trying to encourage everything to grow and put out fruits and flowers and things like that, to actually wanting to get what's already there ripened and so that I can use it. So as many of you know, the weather's been dodgy everywhere, but the nights are starting to already show cooler temperatures, and things like my pumpkins have already started to die back. So I'm acutely aware that even though the greenhouse is a warmer and more controlled environment, that I just need to focus the plants on actually producing their fruit. So that's what we did. And it took me a couple of days, only because I only had like half days to do it at, but it's done and I'm happy with it. On the afternoon of the second day of doing the greenhouse, I got out into the back garden. The back garden really, really needed some attention. It's growing really well because of all the rain, and then we get warm weather like today, and so everything just goes vroom. But with that, it's going vroom in the wrong way too. So like the spinach, which was one of the things I prioritised, had bolted. I think maybe that variety's not helpful. I don't remember having those same issues with my previous variety. So the variety I'm currently got is Summer Solstice. The ones I've previously done is Summer Supreme. I'm going to go back to that next year and see if I and get away from those issues. The peas, as you will have seen in the vlog, just really bad powdery mildew. I harvested them, got a big bowl of peas. They're all frozen up and sorted out now. The new peas, unfortunately, are also going that way, but I'm hoping that they will get to a point where at least I get a reasonable harvest, if not a couple of pickings off them. What I did find by pulling the peas out is that my beans have been going crazy hidden underneath, and I need to do a big pick of those, probably today or tomorrow. The other thing we did was lift all the onions, and they're now off the garden and up on the deck doing their curing. So hopefully in a few weeks they'll be ready. There was that one onion that was really dodgy, and since when we were picking up the ones off the bed yesterday and popping them up on the deck, noticed that one of the others was quite soft, so that's gone out as well. There's no point trying to cure an onion that's already looking dodgy. Right, I'm sure that this vlog is already fairly long. Just want to thank everyone that subscribed to date, and if you have subscribed to date, it'd be amazing if you just check that you still are subscribed, because YouTube does weird things and unsubscribes people. So I hope you're having a happy and safe long weekend in the garden, and that things are working out for you and you're getting lots out of your garden. Don't forget that it is time, if you're going to plant your own seeds for veggies, seedlings for early autumn, it's time to do it now. But until next week's vlog, it's bye from me.